This is TWiT.
Let's talk about this Flickr thing. So Yahoo, way back when, I remember when they did this, made a research database available, which had a lot of information in it, information that was quickly de-anonymized by people in a variety of ways. What I didn't know is that, among other things in this database, they put Flickr pictures. And now it's coming out that and this is an NBC News story, and good on them for this scoop, that those Flickr pictures are being used by IBM to train face recognition. In fact, we could even say IBM is on the side of the angels here, because one of the things they're doing is trying to make face recognition more racially fair.
Less racist.
Less racist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think the problem is that a lot of people didn't know that this was going on. And the story is that IBM did not inform people when it used their photos for face recognition training. Now, the good news is NBC, even though IBM would not give them the data set, NBC was able to get it in other ways. And there is a tool on the NBC site, Did IBM Use Your Photos? And you can enter in, and I haven't done this yet, your Flickr handle, and just to see if your photos, the photos I think were always Creative Commons, right? So they weren't licensed photos, and they were de-anonymized. I don't know.
Were they de-anonymized, or were they were annotated with features?
But
so that's different than being de-anonymized.
Like they might have had racial information.
It's your dog who scared you.
That's a good question. I know that the main Yahoo database was, and they made a big point about this, completely de-anonymized. No, none of my photos are in the IBM data set. What's your Flickr handle? Anybody want to volunteer?
Oh, I can't remember, because it was that fakakta Yahoo thing.
Yeah, because
I had to use a
Yahoo
different account, and no, it was the same as a Yahoo handle. That was the whole mess.
Oh, was it? Okay, well, let me see if Leo Laporte's in there, because I was...
Yahoo ruined everything it touched.
Let me see if Chris Marquardt, I know his Flickr handle. Let's see if his... Oh, yeah. Chris Marquardt's photos are in there. Here is one of them. So here's the most important point. I was able to find it because Chris Marquardt submitted these photos to Flickr, but whoever this guy is, this friend of Chris's, is the face. Not Chris's, but the friend. It's a picture by Chris. And this guy definitely didn't know that when Chris took his picture, it was going to be included in an IBM training set.
So here's the thing.
And now on the Twig podcast, I might add, and I apologize for de-anonymizing you.
Well, you haven't de-anonymized him. You've shown a random face on the internet. We don't know who that is yet. Could we find out more easily now that we've seen it? Yes.
Yeah.
But one, when you scrape faces for facial recognition purposes, what you're pulling that image, you're going to annotate it. So basically that means you're going to say, this is a man, this is a bald man, this is a bald white man with a camera.
Right.
You're going to put all of that in there, and then you send that to the computer, and the computer looks at it and categorizes it, does its stuff. And then that picture doesn't ever come up again. So again, annotating and de-anonymizing, very different. And I would say that when you sent your pictures in under Creative Commons, if you chose that licensing scheme, you did it knowing that your photo could end up on Wikipedia, for example.
But that's the point, is that Chris Marquardt did it and made it Creative Commons, but it's not a picture of him, it's somebody else.
But again...
the guy who's pictured had no consent in it and may not even know... However, I don't have any problem with it, I want to point out, but it's interesting, isn't it? For all I know, I might be one of those pictures too, because Chris is taking a lot of pictures. No one else is going to. So the researchers who are annotating it see those pictures. But that's all, right?
But that's it. Those aren't.
And we need data for research.
We need it, and we
need knowledge.
We want to, especially to make sure our algorithms are not sexist and racist.
Yep.
So what happens with these? IBM took a collection of 100 million images, all Creative Commons licensed. Yahoo had released as a batch for researchers in 2014. They narrowed it down to 1 million faces, each annotated with almost 200 values, things like...
Oh, and some of it was automated, not even human.
Right, measuring the interpupillary distance, the pose, the skin tone, estimated age and gender, and then used to train the data set. I think, in fact, this is a good thing. I'm sure everybody knows that when you allow Google to upload all your photos to Google Photos, that they are using that for training. Otherwise, that search wouldn't work.
Exactly.
I would say, so here's a thing to think about. A picture that is taken in what is clearly a public area might be different than like those naked selfies that you took or pictures of your lover in the bedroom. I don't know if those are filtered out.
Stacy.
What?
But even then, nobody sees it.
But even then, no one sees them. Well, no, the human researcher
Some
who's
researcher
annotating
might see it. And I bet he's saving the good stuff.
Well, that is so. And I mean,
no, but you put it on Flickr, for crying out loud, in public.
Yeah, this is why I don't. And every time I have to sign a waiver for like my daughter's school that she could be photographed and things, I say no.
Yeah.
And
so that's the thing to keep in mind, is that in cases like this, the subject of the photograph is not really in any way involved. So if you're letting people take your picture, you should consider what might end up happening. If it
and I do.
you.
I tell, like, when people take my picture, I ask them not to tag me. If people take a picture and my daughter's in it, I make sure they don't tag her. So, and you'll never catch me posting pictures of my daughter on anything.
Yeah.
So
that's really, I think now this explains why this is a good idea. On the other hand, it's also a good idea to give as broad a data set as possible to these face recognition programs, because if they only get white men, they ain't going to be very good. And what that means potentially is a police department that uses these for finding criminals is going to be much more likely to have false positives with, let's say, women and people of dark skin.
Let's talk about the use case of facial.
That's a bad outcome. So this is to reverse that. I'm for it. I'm going to give him a pass.
Pass.
Okay.
Leo gives it a pass.
I don't give Foursquare a pass, but I give this one a pass.